When my brothers and I started our band, AJR, we didn't know the right way to do anything. We had no industry connections. We barely had money for instruments, let alone expensive studio time. Every song on our first album was written, produced, and mixed in our parents' living room. There was no label, no team, no publicist, no agent. We learned how to do every job since there was no one else to do it, which helped us understand exactly what we needed when we were finally ready to hire people to join our scrappy team. At the time, the do-it-yourself approach was unusual in the music industry. Streaming hadn't completely upended the economics of the record business, and music production software for the masses wasn't yet as massive as it soon would become. We were a bit of an anomaly, which meant that while we were able to borrow some of the industry's tried-and-true methods for catching on with a fan base, we often had no choice but to invent our own strategies. A good number of our ideas worked out, and a good number didn't. We were making everything up as we went along, but it was always with the constant forethought to invest in ourselves and the mission, and never with the sense that there was just one set of rules to follow if we wanted to succeed. We discovered early on that when you're organizing concert tours or album releases, you need tools for reaching people, tactics for mobilizing them, and ways to measure your success. We found or built all of these things, and it created one of the strongest, most identifiable fan bases in alt pop, which in turn allowed us to play our music to sold-out crowds at shows around the world. As AJR found its footing, I spent more time on pursuits outside of music. Growing up in New York City, where activism has been part of the local fabric for centuries, I was constantly aware of the many worthy yet struggling social causes that needed more people, more money, and more action. I found my home in climate work. I started a nonprofit for climate research and advocacy, earned my PhD in human rights law and sustainability, and entered the wild world of federal energy policy, all with an eye toward contributing in whatever way I could to our shift away from fossil fuels and a carbon-based economy. As I drew closer to the world of movements for social change, I often wondered, what if important causes like climate action or gun control or gender equality could attract support with the breadth and intensity of a fan base? What if social change movements could rely not only on donors and occasional demonstrators, but on the unique powers of a fandom? There are lots of ways that fan bases come together, and we'll explore several of those methods in this book. The main reason these strategies work is that ultimately, we all want to be part of something larger than ourselves. In music, that larger thing is typically a collective appreciation for a particular genre or artist. But the same dynamic can be found in collective action taken up in support of a good cause. At nearly every speech, concert, or rally I go to, fans ask me for help to find their place in the fight for social change. They want to build a better, more just world, but they don't know where to start or how they can best contribute. The first 2 chapters of this book are designed to help with that. After that, we get tactical about building the fan base. Growth of a movement is usually the responsibility of movement leaders, but if they borrow the lessons of the music industry, they'll see how much of this work can be carried out by the fan base itself. What every campaign needs. There's a typical path for developing social movements that deliver concrete change, and it can be applied at every level, whether you're thinking about a movement on the whole, i.e. a broad effort with an overarching mission like the climate movement, a campaign, a targeted action with concrete objectives such as closing down a coal plant, or specific actions that make up a campaign, organizing a community protest opposing the coal plant. This path is based on decades of social science research and practical application, and usually it looks something like this. 1. Define the change you want to see. 2. Decide how you'll measure success. 3. Identify the levers you'll need to pull to get there. 4. Understand the audiences that can help you reach those levers. 5. Develop ways to engage those audiences. 6. Take action to move the levers. 7. Evaluate each action's effectiveness. 8. Determine how to do better next time or what to do next.